pitch. I play a lot of them, and you know, but this is one I won't forget.
The Washington Redskins meet the Philadelphia Eagles on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Hey, I'm ready to go.
Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Hey, this is Rockin' Randall Hank, ready to get the good time started. From the opening kickoff to the grand finale, it's a Super Bowl season on a ABC. Yes, everybody is a fan. This is the biggest party, man. All my rowdy friends across this land, we all got it started. Yeah, everything is ready, everything is right. Monday Night Football is coming on tonight.
ABC's Monday Night Football, the Washington Redskins versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By McDonald's, you know the one, it's McDonald's for food, folks, and fun. And by United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
The Liberty Bell here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A capacity crowd on hand tonight for the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Redskins. Both, of course, part of the NFC Eastern Division, where the New York Giants lead at 9-0. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Gifford, along with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Appropriate that we are here on Veterans Day, and for all of us at ABC, we would like to wish all of the veterans around the country our best wishes, and of course those future veterans serving their country in the Middle East. And of course the Eastern Division of the NFC has virtually been conceded to the Giants, but both these teams, the Eagles and the Redskins, feel they have strong playoff opportunities, and they come in tonight looking for a win to bolster those opportunities. And we start off with the Philadelphia Eagles at 4-4, and this is a team that all of a sudden has got a bit of a roll. They have won 2 in a row for the first time. They feel they are where they should have been at the beginning of the season. Meanwhile, the Washington Redskins are coming off a dramatic overtime win over the Detroit Lions, and a storybook performance by Jeff Rutledge, their backup quarterback. Al, and Joe Gibbs knows when he's got a good thing going. He's coming back with the Jeff Rutledge tonight, but then again, he knows about changing quarterbacks.
Frank, this is a fantastic story. Jeff Rutledge was a wishbone quarterback at Alabama. He was selected in the 1979 draft in the 9th round by the Rams, and he spent 3 years basically on their bench. He spent 8 years with the New York Giants, not as a backup, but as a backup's backup. He was left unprotected after the 88 season, no interest. Again after the 89 season, and at the deadline, only Washington showed interest. He signed with them as kind of an insurance policy, but it's like the type of policy you'd buy by dialing an 800 number at 4 o'clock in the morning. He had made 9 career starts in 12 years. Tonight is his 10th. You know the story last week, 363 yards. The miracle comeback, his first touchdown. I wouldn't say he caught people by surprise, but last week in front of the television, his wife was ironing clothes and his kids were out playing soccer. Now, in his 12th year in the league, it is his job to lose. And the way things are going for Joe Gibbs, if Rutledge doesn't have it tonight, Gibbs will probably go to the bench for Sonny Jurgensen. Who knows? Meanwhile, Dan, as far as Buddy Ryan is concerned, no quarterback problems in Philadelphia. He's got one of the best in the game, coming off maybe his best game.
Well, you're right, Al. And by the way, ironing clothes in front of the television set, something our wives gave up a long time ago.
Many years
All
ago.
3 of us. You're right about Randall Cunningham. He's a remarkable individual. We've talked before about Joe Montana, maybe the best quarterback the National Football League has ever seen. If that's the case, then Randall Cunningham has to be the most versatile quarterback the NFL has ever seen. Stop and think for a moment, if you will, what is within his grasp here this season. We're at the halfway mark, and Randall Cunningham has the possibilities of having a 4,000-yard passing season and at the same time rushing for in excess of 1,000 yards. I don't know if the National Football League has ever seen a feat quite like that. Defensively, the guy to watch tonight for Philadelphia is the Minister of Defense, Reggie White. he has threatened retaliation against the Redskin offensive line for cut blocks in their last game. I think a lot of that is frustration. Reggie hasn't had a sack in their last 6 meetings. And now let's get this one going.
And the crowd can't wait. A capacity crowd at Veterans Stadium. Noisy. They understand full well the importance of this one for the Eagles, whose season may hinge on this game. Roger Ruzek puts it in the air. And it's Walter Stanley for the Redskins. From the 6 out to the 21-yard line. And the Redskins begin from there, improbably, with Jeff Rutledge. Mark Riffin started the season. He's hurt on injured reserve, ready to come back. Stan Humphries didn't have it. He came out last week, and Rutledge provided the miracle finish. We'll see Biner start, and a lot of Gerald Riggs, of course. Then the posse, the 3 wideouts, Monk, Sanders, and Clark, coming off a brilliant game. The tight end is Don Warren. And the guys up front, that is an excellent offensive line. Lachey and Grimm and Bostic and McKenzie and Simmons. First down from the 20. Biner, and the whistle had blown before the inception of the play.
I don't know. They might have taken too much time, Al.
It's possible. Jerry Markwright. I think Ron Middleton was late getting on the field for Washington. The extra tight end.
If that's the call, I don't believe I've ever seen that on the first play of a game.
Neither has Gibbs, judging by his reaction. Let's get it from Markwright.
We have a delayed game foul on the offense. We have a personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 20, defense. We're going to penalize the 15 yards and disregard the 5-yard penalty. First down.
Here's the personal foul part of it.
And here comes Andre Waters, number 20, and throwing the elbow into the face of Ernest Biner, and immediately the Eagles are assessed the foul. Andre Waters, we've talked much about him over, well, past several years. He plays this game wildly intense. He was fined recently by the commissioner for banging into a player in our game a couple of weeks ago, and we're going to be hearing more about him tonight already. We caught him with a personal foul.
Ernest Biner on first down. Takes it up to the 37-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8. And let's take a look at this Philadelphia defensive alignment. With Mike Pitts gone, they do hope to have him back. It's White and Golick and Brown who's been nicked, and Simmons has been nicked as well. Joyner, Evans, and Small are the linebackers. Ben Smith, their number 1 draft choice. Eventually he'll be a free safety. Now he's back at a corner with Allen. Waters and Hopkins are the safeties. 2nd and 8. Redskins from the 37-yard line. And this is Biner, the one-time Cleveland Brown in his 2nd year with Washington. Out to the 41-yard line. Seth Joyner meets him at that spot, and it will be 3rd down and 4. And I mentioned we'll see a lot of Gerald Riggs. They will alternate with Biner and Riggs coming out of the backfield. And Kelvin Bryant as well on 3rd down plays, such as the one upcoming.
Bryant really got back into the offense last week against Detroit. 5 receptions. He missed all of last year with a neck injury, but he has really worked his way back into it. Good receiver out of the backfield, number 24.
3rd and 4. Skins, as usual, show a lot of motion. Monk is on the move. Good rush, and Rutledge has his pass tipped and incomplete, intended for Ricky Sanders, and Mike Golick was the guy who got his hand up. Brother of Bob Golick of the Raiders, who had a huge day yesterday with 11 tackles against Green Bay.
Well, if you don't get a lot of penetration, at least jump and get off your feet and get your hands in the air. And that was Mike Golick right there. He really was a good 3 yards away from Rutledge, but he timed his jump perfectly. Good eye-hand coordination.
Ralph Mosienko has to short hop it. Picks it up. Anthony Edwards is back to receive the kick for Philadelphia, but lets it bounce. The Eagles have been having problems running back kicks. And it's down at the 20-yard line by Randy Kirk. Cunningham and the Eagles take over there. Philadelphia Eagles, led by Randall Cunningham, coming off a huge day against New England. 240 through the air, 124 on the ground. Heath Sherman is really developing. Byers listed as a running back, but he's more of a receiver and a blocker these days. Barnett and Williams are the two rookie wideouts. Keith Jackson rounding into midseason form after a long holdout. And there are the guys up front. A lot of pressure on Singletary tonight, trying to handle Charles Mann. From the 23-yard line, Heath Sherman slides to the outside and picks up 5, taking it to the 28-yard line where Greg Minuski, the middle linebacker, makes the stop. Now the Skins. Mann is the guy to watch, and we'll talk about Dexter Manley, who might be eligible to come back next week and be reinstated. But it's Williams and Grant and Cook forming the rest of the line. Collins is the rookie out of Penn State with Minuski and Wilbur Marshall. And the secondary, they've been picking on Mayu a lot. Green is the all-pro, Walton the hard hitter, and Bowles is the free safety. 2nd and 4 from the 29-yard line. Sherman, who rushed for over 100 last week, to the 30-yard line where Wilbur Marshall makes the tackle, but that's the end of the play.
I think Wilbur knows that's all for show, and here we have a fight right off the bat.
With the rookie Collins involved in it, Andre Collins, who was their top draft choice. They picked him in the 2nd round, and he and Reggie Singletary have at it.
It was really a beautiful job of fighting off a block by Wilbur Marshall. Watch the former Bear get upfield and fight off the block of Keith Byers. He gives a little ground, but then right back in and a punishing hit on Heath Sherman. One of the busiest men here tonight is going to be Jerry Markbright. This is always an intense rivalry between these two clubs. Geographically so close. And boy, they get after it. I think every one of these players brought an extra chin strap tonight.
We're 3 minutes into the game, no score. 3rd and 3 for Philadelphia. Cunningham's first pass is too high, intended for Heath Sherman. Minuski covers on the play. And so each team's first series ends with a punt. Buddy Ryan will send his unit in with Jeff Feagles to boot it away. And Walter Stanley, the former Lion and Packer, who was picked up playing B acquisition for Washington. He led the league in punt return average last year. Feagles, meanwhile, doing a good job. John Telchik is ready to come back, but Feagles owns the job, so they have not activated Telchik. This is a wobbly line drive. Stanley from the 33 and back to the 49-yard line. A 15-yard run back. Roger Vick, the former Jet, makes the tackle. And Rutledge and the Skins have the ball at midfield with no score.
There is Walter Stanley, who returned that punt and remained on the ground. He got up and took one step, immediately went back down. Watch how he gets his legs twisted underneath him here. He goes into the air, and then right there, you can see him. He's coming down to the field, and his legs are trapped back underneath him. Not sure if it's an ankle or a knee. They were looking at both.
He tried to twist with it.
Yeah.
And then he actually got up from the tackle, and as he was walking away, he just collapsed.
In obvious pain, great pain. But again, always an excellent sign when a player leaves the field that he's allowed, that he can put his weight on the injured leg. And you can see that Walter Stanley is able to do that now. A look from the far side of the field, our reverse angle camera. Normally when a guy goes up in the air like that, Frank, it's a good way to avoid a leg injury. But it's an awkward twist as Walter Stanley comes back to the field.
As play resumes now for Washington, the Redskins have the ball at their own 48. 11:45 to go. Opening quarter with no score. And Rutledge, who threw very well on similar patterns last week, that out route to Gary Clark on the near side, and Clark takes it in at the 44-yard line for a pickup of about 8. Waters and Joyner cover on the play.
Rutledge does not have what you would call a gun for an arm, but he has great timing, and he releases the ball on the break. He can't smoke it like a lot of quarterbacks, but the timing is good. As you can see, he's right there, and he was absolutely incredible last week against Detroit. He comes back with it again.
Here's Biner on 2nd and 2, and Ernest can't find much room, and he is stopped short of the first down. Setting up a 3rd and about 1.5 yards for the Redskins. Joe Gibbs, his team 5 and 3, but this is the beginning of a a very grueling portion of the schedule. They go home Sunday to meet New Orleans, and then they play Thursday, Thanksgiving, against Dallas. 3 games in 11 days.
Of course, the Dallas game in Dallas, it's always tougher for the traveling team on Thanksgiving Day.
Biner and Riggs are both in the backfield on 3rd down and 1. And this is Riggs, and he appears to be stopped short of the first down. So the Eagles converge to stop him shy of the first down at about the 43-yard line. At least a yard short. Seth Joyner led the charge.
What a great effort by Seth Joyner, who comes all the way across the formation. Here's Seth Joyner. Watch here. Watch him come all the way across and get into this play. What an effort by Joyner. I mean, he is across the formation, leaps over a player and gets in there and puts on a hit. Tremendous play by Joyner.
Ralph Mosienko to punt. Edwards back to receive it. It's a low liner, bouncing at the 15 and fielded at the 8. And Edwards gets buried up at the 14-yard line by Andre Waters. With 9 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the opening quarter, Washington and Philadelphia, 0-0. Against Iowa, Hawkeyes still trying to clinch a Rose Bowl berth, and they need 2 victories in their final 2 games to do just that. Here it's the Eagles from the 14, and their first play on this series nets nothing. Heath Sherman wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. The report on Walter Stanley, the Washington punt returner, sprained right knee, will not return tonight. So it figures to be Joe Howard who will be running back the Washington kicks.
Eagles coming into tonight's game planned on running the ball much more than they did in their 13-7 loss a few weeks ago when they only carried it 8 times in the entire second half, 13 times for the game. Buddy Ryan said, we've got to run the football, and they come out trying, but not having that much success with it.
2nd and 9. Sherman goes nowhere. Loose ball. No signal yet from Mark Bright, and now he signals that they have maintained possession, have the Eagles, and that will set up a 3rd and long.
You can see one of the things the Redskins are doing a lot of line shifting and then doing some stunts down on the line. That time Marcus Cook and Darrell Grant ran a little stunt that normally you see involved in the passing game, where Cook crashed from the outside, Grant looped around, and
Ron Salt is coming off with a little assistance there.
And the former Pro Bowler with the Indianapolis Colts. The Eagles gave a #1 draft choice for this guy, and he's a talented football player. And Frank, he looks like he took a shot to the head. He is woozy. He's having difficulty staying on his feet.
Former 49er Bruce Colley takes his spot. 3rd and 9 from the 15-yard line. Cunningham chased by Marshall, and as he did all last week, runs for the first down.
And he gets hit out of bounds
by Martin Mayhew.
Oh, that's blatant too. Mayhew comes over, and he gets the flag. I don't know if he thought Cunningham was going to stay in bounds a step longer, but Randall knew when he had the first down, he was headed for the sidelines.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 35, defense. Hit out of bounds, leg hit out of bounds, first down.
First of all, Randall Cunningham gets around and past Wilber Marshall, a very fast linebacker, but as you can see, Cunningham was a good yard and a half out of bounds when Mayhew hits him, and that's a flagrant penalty, and that'll get flagged every time. But again, Randall Cunningham showing that his ability.
25 seconds on the play clock, please. 25 seconds.
Cunningham showing his ability to turn a big play from the quarterback position. I think unmatched by anybody in this game right now.
Cunningham.
Almost 500 yards rushing through the first 8 games of the season for a 7.3 yard per carry average. That's extraordinary.
It's hard to imagine how fast he is. You ask Buddy Ryan, he said, 4, 5.
First down from the 40-yard line. And Cunningham airing it out and knocked away at the 20-yard line by Darrell Green on a pass intended for the rookie Fred Barnett.
There's all kinds of bump 'em cards on that fly pattern by Barnett. And probably, maybe still the fastest man in the NFL, Darrell Green. He's won that title 3 different times. And he has got good position against Barnett, looking back into the ball. He's right there. He thought about maybe going up for the interception, but first and foremost, let's get it away from Barnett.
Boy, that's beautiful. Outstanding coverage.
2nd and 10. On a delay, Heath Sherman squirts out to the 43-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 7 with 7:35 remaining in the quarter, and Walter Stanley on his way back to the locker room and done for the night. Next week, a week from tonight, what's become a very attractive matchup on Monday Night Football, the Los Angeles Raiders head into Miami, and we'll take a look at the unbelievable Dolphins led by Dan Marino and that sensational defense holding the Jets to 3 yesterday. The Dolphins 8-1 next week. 3rd and 6 from the 44-yard line. Skins nearly jump, but there's no flag. And the pass is caught at the 42-yard line by Fred Barnett. Catches it in traffic and picks up the first down, and a flag goes down at the end of the play.
So yeah, the confidence they have in this young receiver, the rookie from Arkansas State, they come right back to him, working again against Darrell Green.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 69, offense, 15-yard penalty, and it will still be 3rd down.
Oh, they're calling Bruce Colley, who's into the game, as Al told you, to fill in for Ron Salt, the right guard. Let's take a look. Look at Darrell Green, who gets up there and actually puts a leg whip on Barnett. Now, where does Colley come into the picture? I don't.
Well, Colley obviously busy at the line of scrimmage when this took place, but Darrell Green scrambling around, kind of hard to call that a vicious leg whip, but he did have it in there. You could call it.
Well, he was trying to trip him. He was trying to trip him to make the tackle.
Colley got himself all tangled up with the line of scrimmage of somebody.
Well, if you're counting personal fouls, that's 2 against the Eagles already, and 1 against the Redskins. A typical start.
Puts it back to the 45, 3rd and a long 4. Cunningham has to get it to the 50-yard line, and it's incomplete on a pass intended for the tight end, Keith Jackson. And Jackson claiming that he was held by Alvoid Mays, but no flag on the play, and the Eagles have to kick.
Boy, what a bad break for Philadelphia, guys. With that completion, they're inside the 40-yard line, and now they're forced to punt it away.
That's Bowles who is providing the coverage on Jackson as he comes across.
Jeff Eagles to kick, and Joe Howard now has to run back kicks, and he's not run a kick back for Washington yet this season. He fair catches this one at the 11-yard line. Stanley, who was gone, had run back all but 1. Skins start their next drive deep in their own territory. 6:21 left in the period.
Sunny skies.
Report from the Eagle bench, Ron Salt hit in the head. They're not saying it's a concussion, but they're saying his return is questionable. As the Redskins take over at their own 11-yard line, Riggs is the running back in this formation. The play fake to Riggs, and then the pass to Riggs is dropped with Jerome Brown, the defensive tackle, covering on the play. They like to go to Riggs, or have through the years, both with Atlanta and Washington, as a receiver, but he holds a rather dubious mark. He's caught more balls without ever converting one into a touchdown in the history of the National Football League. 199.
And look who's chasing him. That's Jerome Brown. Number 99, the defensive tackle, was in pass coverage.
That's not getting much respect, is it?
You think they think Riggs is that slow?
2nd and 10. Here's Riggs, and he gets dragged down by Byron Evans, the middle linebacker.
Evans, who this year really developed into a fine middle linebacker. About midway through last year, he really picked up on the Buddy Ryan scheme of things. Gets a good read. Of course, his key You could see he was looking right into the eyes of Gerald Riggs. They give him the draw, and he's all over Riggs.
Third and 11 from the 11. That's Sanders in motion. Rutledge fires over the middle, and open is Clark. A flag comes in late. The pass was underthrown. Rutledge gets decked, and we've got a penalty.
And the penalty came from the vicinity of Art Monk. Art Monk was split out to the bottom of the field here.
Holding number 26, defense, automatic first down, 5 yards.
I think Art Monk that time was squared up on Ben Smith, number 26. Yeah, I think he's got him pretty good. What do you think? Well, Ben, if you're going to hold a guy, hold a guy.
The Eagles were in a blitz defense. The Redskins picked it up, and of course Ben Smith knew that he had individual coverage on Art Monk, and he got himself all wrapped up around Monk, and the Redskins out of trouble, and they pick up the first down.
First and 10 out at the 16-yard line. Here's Riggs. Stopped for next to nothing by the middle of the Eagle line, and also the linebacker Jesse Small coming in to help out. Jeff Rutledge, the only man in the history of this league to play at least 10 years and not throw 500 passes.
He's only had 10 starts over that 12-year career. Had a couple with the Rams, 8 with the Giants.
He's in a category. Mark Herman and Matt Cavanaugh are two guys who are close in that regard. To show you the company he's been keeping. Second down and 10. Riggs flagged down again. And Riggs takes it out to the 18-yard line. Stopped by Jerome Brown and Andre Waters.
Are these guys hitting each other or what? I mean, this is as intense a game as we anticipated. I think it's going to be a long night for this guy.
Offside, number 26, defense, lined up in the neutral zone.
Ben Smith.
5-yard penalty, still second down.
Ben Smith, who really was a safety man who moved over there with an injury to Isaiah Jenkins, but the #1 draft pick, of course, of the Eagles, but he had played that spot during training camp, and you wouldn't suspect that he would line up in the neutral zone.
That's the ultimate bump and run, isn't it? That's closing in on a guy.
Next thing, you get in their huddle.
40 yards already assessed against Philadelphia. Second down and 5 from the 22-yard line. And Riggs takes it out to the 25. He's short of the first down by a couple. Byron Evans in on another tackle. It'll be 3rd and 2. 4:05 remaining in the opening quarter with no score. Riggs out, and per usual on 3rd down, Kelvin Bryant comes in. Veterans Stadium. Clear night and very crisp. Temperature around 40. There's Bryant lined up in the backfield. They go to what they call their heavy jumbo set. 3rd down and 2. And it's intercepted. Frizzell inside the 20, the 10, touchdown.
Rutledge looked upfield, misread it. He was under pressure. Mike Golick. And Frizzell, who comes in the nickel for the Eagles, stepped in front, takes it into the end zone.
It was a line stunt up front, Frank, that broke Golick around. Jerome Brown crashed to the inside, and I think that more than anything caused Rutledge to underthrow it.
Roger Ruzek for the point after. And the Eagles take the lead 7-0 with 3:32 left in the opening quarter.
Take a look at the pressure we spoke of a moment ago. There is a switch. Number 90 is Golick. Rutledge really wanted to take that ball downfield. He had no opportunity. Now he sees Golick. And Jenkins is there for the touchdown interception. And it's Buddy Ryan football. Disruptive, forcing you to do something before you want to do it, forcing you into the mistake.
Just an underthrown ball. There is the pressure. He wasn't hit as he threw it. He got hit immediately afterwards, but still, that's an error that Jeff Rutledge has to bear and bear alone. And no surprise that a Buddy Ryan coached team scores defensively.
That's the second interception for Frizzell this season. Truly a primetime player. The other came in our Monday night game featuring the Eagles in Minnesota last month. 7th season out of North Carolina Central. So Ruzek to kick off again. 7-0 Philadelphia. When these two teams met last, for the only time in the Buddy Ryan regime, the Eagles did not create a turnover. Skins won the game 13-7. Tonight they create the turnover and cash in. Ruzek's kick. Howard has trouble with it and then downs it in the end zone.
You touched on something there, Al, about this Philadelphia team this year. Last year they had 56 turnovers for a plus 24, and coming into tonight they were -2. And that is not characteristic of Buddy Ryan coach teams. They live for the big defensive play, the turnover.
That plus 24 led the league last season. Now the Redskins from the 20. There it is in '89. The Eagles created 3.5 turnovers a game, almost 1 a quarter. This year, 1 3/4 per game, or exactly half of what they did last season. From the 20-yard line, Rutledge throws, and the catch is made on the far side by Gary Clark. He's wrestled out by Eric Allen. And let's go back to the touchdown.
Yeah, let's go back and look at that. I want to show you something. You know, we talked about how complicated is Buddy Ryan's defense. Look at this right here. 9 of the 11 players are inside the hash mark, and then they'll react to whatever formation Washington sets up. Here goes Washington motion. Look at all the movement and the resettling into other positions by the Eagles. I mean, they look thoroughly confused, and yet defensively, William Frizzell steps in front of the ball and scores a touchdown. It's a little more complicated to play defense than some people might think.
First down, and it's batted down and almost picked off, and that's Mike Golick again. Golick, who's getting to play a lot this season in the absence of Mike Pitts, and it's the second pass that he has deflected.
Further to what you were saying, Dan, for the Philadelphia Eagles, they come in with about 15 to 20 different defensive fronts that they're going to put up. And one of the things that the Redskins, and they have been very successful against the Eagles, particularly Joe Gibbs, he's 7-2 since Buddy Ryan came here in '85. They show so much movement, and you saw what happens. The Eagles have to react to it. They continue to show that movement. Sooner or later, they're counting on getting that man isolated or someone blowing a coverage, and they'll get the big play.
2nd and 10, and here's Riggs breaking a couple of tackles. And the longtime Atlanta Falcon running back takes it out to the 36. Riggs now in his 2nd season with Joe Gibbs' Redskins. And you'll recall through the years they've had great success out of the backfield with Riggins and then George Rogers. And then it looked like Timmy Smith would be their guy, but he faded quickly.
There's Ed Simmons, the right tackle, working against Reggie White, the great one. Again, Seth Joyner, the first guy in there on the tackle. Reggie White, a complete player, run and pass.
3rd and a very long 5 from the 37-yard line.
Look out.
Rutledge hit, nearly has it intercepted. He's very lucky that Wes Hopkins didn't pick that one.
And that's one of the many hurries by Reggie White. Dan touched on something earlier. He has not had a sack against the Redskins in the last 6 games, and that's partly because the Redskins always have a couple of guys working on him. They'll have a tight end helping the tackle, and this time White around the corner. And Simmons doing a pretty good job, but White again forced Rutledge to release it before he wanted to. And it was almost picked off.
So Rutledge is 2 for his first 7. Moshienko already punting for the 3rd time. A wobbly floater fielded at the 29 by Anthony Edwards, and he runs it back to the Eagle 35. Cunningham's on a pace. He's come very close to establishing a National Football League record for most yards rushing in a season by a quarterback. Bobby Douglas did it for the Bears in 1972, 968 yards. And Cunningham is just about halfway there at the halfway mark of the season. Randall throws, and that's incomplete, intended for Keith Jackson. And so Cunningham is a cold 1 for 5.
Yeah, guys, I touched on it in the open, but I mean, Frank, you've been around this game for so long. I mean, to think that this guy right here has the capabilities of having a 4,000-plus yard season throwing the ball and 1,000 yards running the football. I mean, that almost defies description.
And of course, he's with the right coach too, Dan, and Buddy Ryan. Buddy Ryan, after the first couple of games, said this is not going to get it. We're too disciplined. Let's let Randall do what he wants to do. They've gone back to it, and they've turned their season around.
Heath Sherman gets tackled by Todd Bowles. Well, Cunningham is there. He's their leading ground gainer. He's averaging, coming into the game, an amazing 7.3 yards per carry. League average is exactly 4.
And as much running as he does, scrambling around, this is his 51st consecutive start tonight, going all the way back to the strike. I mean, he is a physical marvel. He gets hammered, he gets hit, and he always pops up. He's like a plastic man out there.
On 3rd and 8, Cunningham under pressure, and he gets sacked back at the 22-yard line. Nobody picked up Monty Coleman. The 12-year veteran comes flying through and creates the sack.
Monty Coleman is one of the fastest linebackers you're going to find. And the Redskins will always have him in there on pass coverage. This time, instead of dropping into the coverage where they usually have him, he comes on the blitz. He has great agility. And Cunningham perhaps underestimating the speed of Monty Coleman, and he paid the price.
Final minute, first quarter. Eagles on top, 7-0. And Fiegels is going to run with the ball. He has to get to the 35 for a first down, and not even close. And then he throws it. And that creates a flag, and it's going to be Washington ball because of Sidney Johnson coming flying through.
And you know what Fiegels is going to get called for? Intentional grounding. I mean, he's just like a quarterback in this situation.
Fiegels had an opportunity to punt that ball after he got away from the first Washington Redskin, and he decided to run with it. He must have lost track of the fact that he had about 20 yards to go for the first.
Sidney Johnson came in, so did Brian Mitchell, but I agree with you, Frank. It looked like Fiegels had every opportunity to get it away.
After avoiding the first Redskin who was in on him, Fiegels had a great opportunity to kick it and didn't do it.
Intentional grounding on number 5. Philadelphia, 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. The down counts. First down, Washington.
There's Al Roberts, the special team coach. He can hardly believe this has happened.
Watch what I was talking about just a moment ago. The pressure comes on Fiegels, and he gets away from that. He does a good job reading it right there. Now right here, he should have kicked the ball.
Yep. Yeah, right there. Fiegels had all the time in the world after he broke out to the right side to kick it.
And the Redskins created that with just a 5-man rush from the 12-yard line. Riggs takes it down to the 8. I mean, they were trying to set up a return, rushing only 5 and sending 5 others back to help block on the potential return, and they're able to create a situation where they can cash in and tie the game. And Riggs is shaken up.
That'll bring in Ernest Biner for Riggs, who limps out. And one thing the Eagles are probably aware of, the Redskins down here on second and long yardage, when they get down around the end zone, they like to think about their tight end.
That's going to do it for the first quarter. So Washington knocking on the door when the second quarter begins after the first 15-minute section. 7-0 Philadelphia. Back with ABC's Monday Night Football after this commercial message and a word from our ABC stations.
Barbecue? Come on, it's practically winter. Baggett? McDonald's? Hey, McRib. Now you're talking. Fries? And a Coke? Tell me more. A McRib pack. We'll take 4. Better hurry, huh? McRib.
McDonald's.
Folks in fun show.
You can spot someone who saved money with a second-rate.
Theodore, we start the second quarter. It is 2nd and 6 for Washington from the Philadelphia 8. Eagles on top, 7-0 on a William Frizzell interception return. Fake to Biner, and Rutledge goes the other way, and the catch is made by Donnie Warren. It's a touchdown. He doesn't have to worry about it. Don Warren scrambling after the ball, but he was over the line and had possession, according to the initial indication, and it's a Redskin touchdown.
Redskins love the tight end when they get down inside the 15, 10-yard line, and all he had to do with that football was get it over the plane of the goal line, and the question, did he have possession when he got it across? Let's take a look.
Well, the ball severely underthrown by Rutledge. Did Warren have possession of the football? Boy, I don't know. I don't think he had possession.
And we'll never know because they get the kick away before replay can call down. And the kick is good despite the high snap, and give the Redskins a lot of credit for hurrying to get that extra point kick before anybody could call down and say, let's have another look.
Now, that's one of the quickest conversions I've seen in a long time. You tell me they're not getting sophisticated with this replay. Now, does he have possession? He has to be controlling the ball. He's lunging to get it into the end zone. Ball is loose there, but did it cross the plane of the goal before he lost it?
I don't think that was a touchdown. I don't think he ever has control of the football. I don't see any way that Don Warren had control of the football, and you two hit it squarely. They kicked that extra point so quickly. They had no chance. There's no way the replay booth got a good look at it in time to communicate down to the umpire to stop it.
You cannot review a play once the next play begins. And it doesn't matter whether it's an extra point or not, or just another regular play. Once there's another snap, that's it. End of chance.
The guy who made this happen, though, is Don Warren. Even though, in our estimation, he didn't have control of the football, he had enough control on the football to get credit for the touchdown on a real poorly thrown ball.
This is Thomas Sanders, the former Bear and Charger. He loses the ball, but the play is over. Brown causing the fumble as Sanders takes it out to the 16-yard line.
Sanders not exactly leaping to his feet. I think he ought to go over and sit down next to Ron Salt. He's taken a good shot to the head, I believe. Look at the rubber legs.
Sanders was a rookie with Buddy Ryan in Buddy's last year as defensive coordinator for the Bears back in '85.
Ryan then coming here in '86, signing a 5-year contract, and this is the 5th year of that 5.
Well, you think mistakes have had a role in scoring here? William Frizzell steps in front of a Rutledge pass and runs it in for a touchdown, and then the Eagles turn around and make a mistake in their punting game, which gives the Redskins good field position, and they convert for a touchdown. Yardage-wise, it has not been an offensive explosion by either club.
1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. Keith Sherman takes it out to the 18-yard line, and Wilbur Marshall comes up to make the tackle for the Redskins. You'll recall Marshall leaving Chicago, signing that megabucks deal with Washington.
And he is having some year. Wilbur Marshall, who was really at the focal point of everyone when he came, as played out his option and was signed, and he does not freelance like he used to freelance in the Buddy Ryan defense in the Chicago Bears scheme of things. It's more controlled under Richie Pettibone, and consequently you don't see that much of him firing all over the football field, but he is having a great season.
2nd and 8. Cunningham off the fake, sets up the screen. The pass, though, is high. Sherman makes a nice catch and turns it into a nice gain out to the 23. Give Sherman all of the credit on that one.
This guy is good, and he is tough. Heath Sherman, one of the things he does so well when he runs the football is stay so low to the ground. And here he shows tremendous receiving ability by going up in the air to make a one-handed grab. Randall again puts his ball up high. And watch the shot that Sherman takes at the end here from Alvin Walton. Right there.
Well, he gives about as much as he's going to take, too. You hit it. He runs so low, Dan. He really punishes tacklers.
Well, that was a fine catch.
Third and a short 3. And it appeared that the Skins jumped. In fact, there is a flag. The juggling catch is made by Keith Jackson, and he's out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
Whoa, boy.
Whoa, Nelly.
That time Cunningham was on target to Jackson. They came with that play earlier, and Cunningham overthrew the ball, and it was a...
Offside, defense, penalty decline, first down.
It was a free down for Cunningham, and he knew it, so he was able to drill it in, even though the coverage wasn't all that bad on Jackson.
It didn't have to be a juggling catch. A beautifully thrown ball by Randall Cunningham. And Keith Jackson, a bitter holdout, and many complaints about money here in Philadelphia, but he can play.
28-yard pickup. Sherman breaks the tackle and turns what would have been a 2-yard gain into a gain of about 5. Run out of bounds by Alvin Walton.
The kind of hitting we're seeing tonight is sort of self-generating. We saw it from the very moment, and it's just continued to build and build and build.
Well, you better hit to survive.
That is the way you do survive in this game.
If you choose not to participate in this one from a hitting standpoint, you'll get knocked out of the game.
Lost his mouthpiece at the end of this hit.
Alvin Walton again. One of the hardest hitting safeties in the game.
2nd and 5 from the 45-yard line. The toss to Sherman. He juggles, regains control, turns it into a first down. Almost lost it again, but he takes it to the 37-yard line where Eric Williams and Alvin Walton converge to stop him.
Alvin Walton is killing people out here.
Good move by Williams, sliding all the way from his defensive left tackle spot to be in on that tackle. But Buddy Ryan said, I want to run the football. We've got to run the football. We didn't do it last time in that loss, 13-7 in Washington. And so the man who gained 100 yards plus for him last week is playing the principal role tonight, and all of a sudden it's become effective. And when you can run the football, which the Eagles have not been able to do, you can throw it a lot easier.
1st and 10. Cunningham gets flushed. He'll run, takes it to the 33-yard line. Dead ball, though. The line judge coming in, signifying the ground caused the fumble at the 33-yard line. Grant and Minuski converge on the tackle. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Radio Shack, America's technology store. Nobody compares for Christmas shopping. 10:55 left first half. Game tied 7-7. 2nd and 6. Eagles at the Redskins 33. Sherman, he's carried 10 times now for 30 yards. Takes that one to the 31-yard line. Keith Sherman in his 2nd year out of Texas A&I, and he's done very well over the past couple of weeks against Dallas and New England, averaging 5.5 yards a carry. We mentioned Keith Byers is more of a receiver and blocker now, and they've seen a lot of Anthony Toney in the last couple of years, but this is a job waiting to be won on a regular basis, and Sherman putting in his bid. Third and 5. They send Jackson in motion, and Cunningham throws and nearly has it picked off at the 15, intended for Fred Barnett, and in and out of the hands of Alvoid Mays. And it'll be 4th down, and you're looking at about a 50-yard field goal attempt, if they so choose.
I think they're going to go on 4th down and 5 at the 32-yard line. And they will. Buddy Ryan sends him back out there.
4th and 5, as we say, passing up the opportunity for a 50-yarder in what is a swirling wind right now. Not a bad gamble, all things considered. Cunningham. Back to the 43. He gets sacked.
The one thing they didn't want is the sack, because now the Redskins going to take it over about the 43-yard line. I mean, Buddy believes in the defense, but He would have liked for Randall, if he couldn't get the completion, to at least get rid of the football. And Wilbur Marshall from his left side applying a little bit of pressure, and here it comes right up the middle in the form of number 71, Charles Mann. And the Redskins will have good field position after that sack at their own.
Times reflected at the bottom. And also golf on Saturday at 2 Eastern, the RMCC Invitational, hosted by Greg Norman in California. Back in Philadelphia, it's the Redskins taking over at their own 42-yard line. And Ernest Biner goes nowhere, wrapped up in the backfield as Clyde Simmons, who's been bothered with an Achilles strain, and thus his sack production is down, is able to get into the backfield and stop him before he gets started.
Simmons, who led in sacks a year ago, has really come on in the past couple of weeks. He's getting healthy, and that time it appeared as if Jeff Rutledge changed the play at the line of scrimmage. And went right into the teeth of the Eagles defense.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13. 9:15 to go in the half. Game tied 7-7. Backside screen, and it's a good thing that he dropped it, because that would have been a loss. Ernest Biner dropping the football. And it will be 3rd and 13.
Eagles all over that one. They had Byron Evans out picking up the screen man, Biner, and they had Simmons right in the face of the quarterback, Jeff Rutledge. Talked about Evans earlier, how he's picked up all the complexities of Buddy Ryan's defense, and it is a complex for that middle linebacker in Buddy's scheme of things.
3rd down 13, Redskins at their own 40. 9:11 left in the half. Philadelphia 7, Washington 7. Rutledge under pressure, throws it away. Good rush that time. Art Monk, the intended receiver. And it's 4th down, and it's a 3-and-out series for Washington.
Yeah, Rutledge is not seeing the same defense he saw a week ago in Detroit.
Well, you see Reggie White extremely upset with Don Warren, and now Reggie's got to try to get off the field before Washington punts the ball.
And
the Eagles had to take a timeout, I think.
Well, I'm waiting for the signal, and let's see what Mark Bright says. It is indeed Reggie White carrying on that conversation on the far side. Cost Philadelphia a timeout.
Yeah, if the Eagles would not have taken the ball, the Redskins would have punted, and the Eagles would have had 12 men on the field.
You're arguing in front of your own bench. I guess that's the moral of that story. Washington to punt on 4th down. It's Mosienko's 4th punt of the game. 9:06 to go in the half. Anthony Edwards is back for the Eagles. Swirling wind on the surface. Rush was on. Mosienko gets it away. Fair catch is called for. Edwards makes it.
And Mosienko, Al, is hurt. He got hit at the end of that play. No flag. Yeah. There was no flag thrown. Let's take a look at Mosienko. Well, you can see right there, number 43 was Roger Vick. He ends up on the leg of Mosienko, and he limps off. There is Roger Vick in the circle. Now watch him here as he goes in. He's really not blocked in by a Redskin. He just loses his footing, slides into Rolf Mosienko, and the Eagles dodged a bullet.
No flag on the play. Eagles start from their 22, and Keith Jackson makes the catch and gets hammered out at the 27-yard line. We talked about them. There is Mosienko.
Yeah, I think more importantly, Frank, than the penalty, because I think that would have fallen into the running into the kicker category, which would have been a 5-yard penalty. It would not have given the Redskins a first down, but we'll have to see how effectively Mosienko is able to punt throughout the rest of the game.
Meanwhile, the Eagles have been able to do very little offensively, as you saw. Their only score coming on Frizzell's run back of an interception. Keith Sherman can't get started. He is stopped at the 27. That's a loss of 1, and will set up a 3rd and 5.
One thing about the Eagles offense and Buddy Ryan's attempt to run the ball with Heath Sherman and Heath Byers and is the fact that you take the ball out of the hands of your best running back, and that's Randall Cunningham. If you let him throw the ball, say 40 times in a ball game, he's going to end up running it 10 or 12 times, and he is the best runner on this football team.
That much time left in the half. Game tied 7-7. 3rd and 5 with Williams, the rookie, in motion. Cunningham with a deep drop and another sack. Jumpy Geathers, the New Orleans Saint longtime defensive end who was picked up in Plan B by Washington, gets this one.
Well, one of the strategies by the Redskins here is to run in 3 new defensive linemen on 3rd and long. They bring in Fred Stokes, they bring in Jumpy Geathers, they bring in Tim Johnson to put fresh legs in pursuit of Randall Cunningham.
Darrell Green, the cornerback, drops back for Washington to take this Feagles kick. Remember, Stanley is hurt and done for the night. They tried Howard on the last punt, and now it's Green calling for a fair catch.
There was a time in his career, Al, he's one of the best in the business at returning punts, so they're not giving away much if they have to go with him the rest of the night.
From the 42, 1st and 10. Game tied 7-7, 7:12 left in the half. Rutledge buys time with the fake to Biner, and then it's through the hands of Jimmy Johnson. The pass was right there, and Johnson couldn't hold it.
Oh, and that play was set up well. Johnson cracked down like he was going to block. The fake to Biner, and Johnson came off the block, and he was wide open.
And the ball looked like it was back behind him a little bit. You know, you got to give Clyde Simmons a little credit there. He gave Jimmy Johnson a shot as he was trying to release off the line and disrupted the timing of that play a little bit. Clyde Simmons, number 96, is very active here in the first half.
Rutledge is 3 for 11. 4 for 12 now as Sanders makes the catch. And he is run out of bounds by Joyner. That's only the 3rd catch made by a member of the posse tonight. We're talking about Clark, Sanders, and Monk. Last week, those 3 combined for 32 receptions.
And this one only for a yard. And last week they had 432 yards combined against Detroit. As I said earlier, this is not the Detroit defense they're looking at tonight.
And of course, to the right side, a total of 3 receptions between the 3. Big difference.
And tonight, the posse has been playing possum to this point.
Oh, Al, you're something.
Oh, yeah, right. 3rd and 9 from the 43. And that's incomplete, intended for the leaping Gary Clark. And at that time, it was Reggie White who forced the issue, decking Rutledge.
And Gary Clark, though, was open on the play, and that is a throw that Jeff Rutledge should make. Watch Gary Clark. He'll go down, plant the foot, make his break to the sideline, and Ben Smith giving him all sorts of room, but yet the ball a little too much out in front of Gary Clark.
Meanwhile, there is a fake punt here. The pass is thrown. Brian Mitchell throwing it. Jimmy Johnson, the intended receiver, as they had Bosienko in the game, to fake the punt, comes limping off, and that doesn't work.
Whoa, boy. The short snap here to Mitchell. And nobody, and the problem is that he's forced to retreat. Nobody blocked David Bailey, number 93, a defensive end for Philadelphia, who comes in and forces Mitchell to make a bad toss.
You get the feeling that's one that Joe Gibbs will file away.
Oh, on your own side of the 50, a fake punt. Yep. Very, very risky.
Fake punt and a kicker who is clearly hurt, Mosienko.
Yeah.
This is Heath Sherman, and they've been burying him left and right tonight. Eric Williams is right there.
That injury could be one of the determining factors in going with the fake punt. It'll be interesting to see who they try to come back with when they have to punt again.
I mean, if Joe Gibbs, by running that fake punt on his own side of the 50, is telling us that Mosienko is hurt, too hurt to kick, well, then it's going to be interesting to find out who the Redskins employ next time they do punt.
Maybe Chip Lohmiller, their field goal kicker. We'll see.
That's Wayne Severe on the left with the gray hair, the special teams coach.
2nd and 11, and Cunningham gets buried again back at the 49-yard line. Raven Caldwell, and that's 4 sacks already for Washington.
Well, the last time they met a few weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, they sacked Cunningham 5 times, so they are picking up where they left off. One of the few teams that have been able to contain Cunningham, keep him in the pocket. They have just given him literally nowhere to go tonight. They've covered his receivers well, and as he tries to get out of the pocket, they nail it.
Cunningham has been sacked 31 times already this season in 8.5 games. 3rd and 18. They have to get to the Skin 33-yard line, and Cunningham has it knocked down at the 11. Intended for Calvin Williams. He was well covered. Al Boyd-Mays got a hand on it.
Williams was just playing defensive back at that point. Cunningham laid that one up on that 3rd and long, figuring if it was picked off down there, it'd be like a punt anyway. And he got a good play out of Calvin Williams.
The Eagles to kick. This time it's Joe Howard back to receive the punt.
We assume he's going to kick.
Yep. Howard with some room from the 11. Brings it back to the 24-yard line. We have exactly 5 minutes to play in the first half. This game is tied 7-7, and we've got a great matchup next Monday night as we take our first look of the season at the Los Angeles Raiders, who come in with a mark of 6-3 and on top in the AFC West, and that means Schrader and Jackson and Marcus Allen and the rest against the Miami Dolphins, featuring Dan Marino and the league's #1 defense.
Well, they don't have to win 41-38 anymore, do they?
What are they called? The Miami Pound Machine.
They have given up a touchdown in 4 weeks.
Next week, Miami is the site. From the 24-yard line, Rutledge on first down throws into a lot of traffic and threads it in there to Ricky Sanders, who gets between 2 defenders, a 26-yard pickup. Jenkins was there along with Jesse Small, and Sanders got in between them.
Boy, how's that for a matchup? Buddy Ryan is asking Jesse Small to go man-to-man, running with Ricky Sanders, a wide receiver, and he's really right there on top of him. But boy, you are putting a lot of pressure on a linebacker, asking him to go one-on-one with a fast wide receiver like Sanders.
1st and 10 at the 50. Here's Biner picking up 3. We've not seen Riggs back in the game since he went hobbling off a couple of series ago. Clyde Simmons makes the stop. You don't give up much when you lose somebody like a Riggs for a short period of time. Biner and Riggs both very adequate. He's coming into the game averaging 4 yards a carry.
Biner gives you a little bit more of a dimensional offense. He can work out of the backfield better than Riggs as a receiver. He'll stay in on the 2nd and long.
Report on Riggs from the sideline. Sprained foot is expected to return. 2nd and 7. Biner swings to the outside, and the one-time Cleveland Brown picks up 5, taking it to the 42-yard line. Myron Evans and Andre Waters converge on the hit.
He's got to go down as one of the trades of the decade. Mike Oliphant for Ernest Biner. Biner, a former 1,000-yard rusher for the Cleveland Browns.
3rd and 2. Here are the Skins tonight on the ground, averaging less than 2 yards a carry.
Give credit to the guys in the green shirts. They have really stuck things at the line of scrimmage, and this is an outstanding Redskin offensive line.
Redskins have not converted a 3rd down tonight. They're 0 for 6. 3rd and 2 here. And Rutledge going deep for Clark and threw it behind him, and then it was Izell Jenkins nearly coming up with the interception.
The poorly thrown ball by Rutledge, but good coverage by Jenkins. He was asked to cover man for man on Gary Clark. He was right there in the coverage.
Yeah, but
the blitz was coming on. He knew he was going to be with him all by himself.
Watch how far behind this ball is thrown. Right there, Gary Clark, if the ball is led to him out front, has a chance of making a big play. That could have been 6 points. That ball off target to the left, maybe a good 5 yards.
Now the hurting Moshienko is able to get the kick away. Hits at the 10, and the Skins will down it very deep in Eagle territory at the 2-yard line with 2:40 remaining in the half as Moshienko goes limping off. Raven Caldwell downs the punt, 40-yard effort.
You know, I think one of the things, granted the game is a 7-7 tie, but at halftime, One of the things I think Joe Gibbs has to consider is pulling Jeff Rutledge and bringing in Stan Humphries. Rutledge has not thrown the ball well tonight. He's not thrown it well. He's not thrown it well at all.
Well, it's a Cinderella story, but the clock may be striking 12 at about 10:20. You're right.
Yep.
First down, Eagles from the 2. Sherman drops the football at the 7-yard line, but recovers it himself after a gain of 5.
A fortuitous bounce for Heath Sherman. That is an AstroTurf bounce. I don't know that you could count on the ball coming right back up as quickly as it did here.
The second worst thing you can do if you're an Eagle is fumble the football. The worst is when you have to come to the sidelines and look into the eyes of Buddy Ryan.
2nd and 5. Sherman again takes it out to the 10. It's going to be 3rd and 2, and that's going to take us down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go. Key game for both teams in the NFC East. Interesting note, the Redskins have not picked off a pass in 4 consecutive games, and this is a franchise that has been around since 1932. And it's the first time in team history that has happened, and they're going on 4.5 games as we have 2 minutes to play in the half. 3rd and the long 1, Philadelphia from just outside the 10. And Sherman gets that 1 and about 2 more, taking it to the 13. First down, Eagles, who have 2 timeouts at their disposal. Monty Coleman makes the tackle.
Eagles going without a huddle as the seconds tick off.
Cunningham stepping up. Eludes Marshall and gets run out of bounds, stopping the clock with 1:29 to go in the half.
Randall that time messing up on the snap count, actually starting to drop back before the ball was snapped. If the Eagles would have had a receiver or a back in motion, that would have been a motion penalty, but as it turned out, Randall was the only guy in motion at the snap of the ball.
I saw Randall peering over the sidelines where the play was being signaled in, and he obviously was not terribly happy with what they were giving him.
Philadelphia, amazingly, 12 yards through the air. With 1:29 to go in the half. It is 2nd down and 5 as Sherman swings to the outside and seeks the first down and is very close to it. The head linesman going right over to the stripe.
I tell you, one of the things I like about Heath Sherman is that seldom does the first man who hits him bring this guy to the ground. You see some backs, and it just seems that the first defender that gets a shot at him seems to bring them to the ground, and Heath Sherman is one of those guys that it always seems to be the 2nd or the 3rd guy that ends up bringing him to the turf, and that's a kind of toughness and sturdiness that keep you around this league for a while.
First down. He's been a real workhorse tonight, and you can see movement on the right side. That appeared that Colley moved at first, and then the Redskins came flying in.
Number 69, offense.
And it was Colley.
5 yards, first down.
And Charles Mann very alertly was not going to let them get away with it. He stepped across the line of scrimmage and, of course, precipitated the foul. You'll see 69 right there, the former 49er, rocking back into position, setting up for the pass, and Mann on your far right steps across the line of scrimmage.
First and 15 from the 19. 1:23 to go. Sherman's 17th carry of the game takes him out to the 29-yard line. Wilbur Marshall in on the tackle.
Well, Wilbur is playing a great game. I mean, this is as good a half of football as a guy could have. Unless they're Derek Thomas and have 8 sacks and a half or something.
Cunningham fires to Keith Jackson, and that's a first down out to the 47, and now they can think about taking a timeout. Meanwhile, we've got a fight at the 32-yard line. Jumpy Geathers got into it.
Randall grabbing an official and calling timeout as the Eagles move up to midfield.
We had a fight, but This gain by the Eagles will stand as the timeout's called down on the field. KJ again.
Eagle timeout. Gibbs, his defense, taking a look at the Eagles moving now as they've taken it to the 47. They have 1 timeout left and 51 ticks remaining on the clock. Cunningham, nice touch. Byers makes the catch, takes it to the Redskins 38, tackled by Brad Edwards. Up they come without a huddle. Conserving that remaining timeout. Remember, they lost a timeout as Cunningham has to ground it 30 seconds. They have 1 less timeout than they should have because of that Reggie White incident before.
Redskins, up until now, have taken Byers out of this football game. That was his first reception. He is the leading receiver for the Eagles. Not a great offensive show on the part of either ball club, but you just get the feeling it could explode any moment when you watch number 12.
Keith Byers, Frank, talk about what he can do. I mean, this guy plays some tight ends, some wide receivers, some running back.
Superb blocker.
Both running and receiving. He's not only that, but he's the commissioner of their bowling league.
2nd and 10. Catch is made by the rookie Fred Barnett. Great little spin move to fake Green out. And he's out of bounds at the 20.
That's all-pro, an all-pro move by the rookie from Arkansas State.
Nice.
Slit, gave a little fake to the inside, but he knew all along he had to get out of bounds and stop the clock. That was a superb effort.
That would be a smart play by a 10-year veteran. If that was a Steve Largent or someone of that caliber. But look at this, back to the sidelines. Hello, goodbye.
Well, they see a great future for Fred Barnett, 6'3", 200-pounder. You saw a great move.
First down from the 21. Cunningham to Byers. Great touch again. He stays in bounds. Clock runs. Edwards makes the tackle. They have to now take their last timeout with 12 seconds remaining.
Well, hasn't this been a spirited little drive by the Eagles?
Well, they'll have time to try to get it into the end zone once. If not, they'll look at 3. Attack at halftime, and naturally will feature Derek Thomas, who set a record yesterday, 7 sacks for Kansas City against Seattle. And we'll take a look at the playoff picture as of the moment at halftime on our Lexus halftime report.
And we talked about the lack of offense. This drive started at the 2-yard line. Randall Cunningham at his best.
From the 12, remember 12 seconds, no timeouts. Cunningham has to put it into the end zone and has it picked off, and of all things, by Martin Mayhew. So there won't even be a field goal attempt.
And that might be Cunningham at his worst. One thing you did not want to do is get that ball picked off. He had almost a cinch, 3 points.
Well, I think he was expecting Heath Sherman to make a break upfield instead of towards the sidelines, up into the end zone. Heath Sherman broke out of the backfield and headed towards the sidelines. I mean, I just think that's a question of Cunningham expecting one of his receivers to do one thing. Sherman is out here to the left, made a break to the sideline. There he is right there. He also had another receiver working across the middle of the field. Quite obviously, Cunningham thought one of those guys was going into the end zone and break away through the ball. It almost looked like he was throwing it for a fade down that sideline.
Oh, that hurts to go in to the locker room. A 78 drive and you come up empty.
Strange, odd first half. It ends 7-7. Back we come after this message from the NFL and a word from our ABC station. And we're back in the city of brotherly love, home of Independence Hall, the Liberty Bell, Philadelphia, where the Eagles and the Washington Redskins, after a rather odd and somewhat awkward first half, are tied 7-7 in a key game. Again, the Eagles are 4-4, trying to win their 3rd straight. And the Redskins 5-3 and playing their first of 3 games over an 11-day period. Roger Ruzek will kick off for the Eagles, who blew an opportunity to kick at least a field goal to take the lead at the end of the first half when Cunningham was picked off.
Really ruined what had been a nicely executed drive all the way down the field.
There's a bouncer fielded at the 29-yard line. I believe that's Kurt Gouveia, who takes it back up to the 44.
Now there's a guy who had no intention of making a cut. Cuvea took the ball, put the head down, and took off.
ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Pontiac and your Pontiac dealer. We build excitement. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. Washington at the 44-yard line. And Ernest Biner picks up about a yard, and we'll keep an eye on Gerald Riggs, who was shaken up and sprained his foot in the first half, and we have not seen him since. Numbers through the first 30 minutes of play.
So much of that Eagle yardage came on that final drive of some 78 yards.
I think
with no points at the end.
I think it's safe to assume it's been a long time since the Redskins were held under 100 yards in offense in a half, 78 to be precise. Only a third of his passes have been completed. Jeff Rutledge.
Here's Biner again. Out to the 48-yard line. And it will be third and about 6. Byron Evans makes the tackle.
There's Mark Rippon on the Redskins sideline, having some coffee or hot chocolate before the game, telling us that he'll be back practicing this week with Washington and fully expects to play next week. Of course, Joe Gibbs will have the final say-so on that, and he is a big man.
Third and 6 from the 48-yard line. Heavy pressure. Jesse Small whacks him as he gets rid of it, and it's incomplete.
Jesse Small, not all that small, but he is quick. You saw him earlier covering a wide receiver. He comes absolutely.
Here's Small right here, and there's Don Warren. Take a look at this. Warren just falls down.
Never touched him.
Don Warren trying to back up. Looked like he caught his heel on the turf and fell down.
Mosienko's punt fielded at the 9 by Edwards. And he runs it back out to the 18-yard line. He is tackled by Minuski. 43-yard boot, 9-yard run back, 13-17 remaining in the third. Made an interesting choice here in the second half. It was his choice to receive or defend a goal, and he elected to defend this goal here in the third quarter. So the Redskins wind up receiving both kickoffs tonight. And Philadelphia starts this drive from the 18-yard line, and it's Heath Sherman for next to nothing. A gain of 1, 2nd and 9.
I mean, interesting in many ways. The wind is swirling here in Veterans Stadium. I don't think that the fourth quarter will offer much of an advantage for Philadelphia.
I don't know how you could predict from which direction the wind might be coming. You can see the wind at the top of Veterans Stadium is very predictable, but it's much different down on the floor of the field. It has been an extremely windy day here on the East Coast all day.
On 2nd and 9, Keith Jackson makes the catch, fights to get the first down, but he is stopped a half-yard short by Monty Coleman.
Monty Coleman, one of the few linebackers you would say that is not making a mistake in trying to cover Keith Jackson with him at least short. Coleman with the great speed we talked about earlier. Jackson fights into him and then breaks away from the pressure, and Cunningham is right there with the ball.
3rd and inches at the 28-yard line. Myers lines up on a wing to the right, in effect the third tight end, and Heath Sherman exploits the right side and breaks one all the way out to the 48-yard line behind a Bruce Colley block.
Hey, Buddy Ryan came into this game and said, we're going to run the football. We didn't do it last time. He felt it cost the game. Gets a good block out in front by Tony. Breaks back.
Boy, it all started with a double team at the point of attack between Reggie Singletary, the right tackle, and Keith Jackson, the tight end. And this offensive line and tight end combination for the Eagles has been very effective tonight. They've been producing some nice holes for Sherman.
First and 10 at the 49-yard line. Then a nice hole there for Sherman to move through, pick up about 6 to the 45-yard line of Washington. Keith Sherman, well, since Buddy Ryan came here, and that would be 1986, he's the first Eagle running back with consecutive 20-carry games. Now, their featured back through most of Ryan's reign has been Keith Byers. Last week, 24 rushing attempts. And tonight, over 20, and adds a few more as he takes it to the 42. And we talked about the evolving of the Philadelphia running backs through the years. Byers is now pretty much a wide receiver or a tight end or an H-back or a blocking back or whatever you want to call him. Keith Sherman trying to win the job on a full-time basis.
And this running attack by the Eagles is all taking place with perhaps their best blocking offensive lineman, Ron Salt, on the bench. And Bruce Colley, way from San Francisco earlier this year, in there at right guard, replacing Salt.
3rd and 1. Byers in motion, and Sherman was leaning forward, and this is Anthony Toney, and we've got a flag down. That's Toney's first carry of the night, but you can see Sherman was leaning forward, and it should be a motion call against Philadelphia.
Mickey Schuler, the tight end, was also one of the guys moving at the snap of the ball.
We have an illegal shift offense.
Schuler, the longtime Jets tight end.
Over 450 career receptions. Kind of surprising when the Jets made him available.
Well, one of the reasons was the guy who just moved out of your picture, Rich Kotite, who's come down from the Jets to take over as the offensive coordinator, bringing Schuler with him. Richie's done a real nice job here with the offense. They had some problems and struggled early on, but last week everything came up roses for him with the explosion against New England. A little short on the first down here.
It usually happens whenever you change an offensive coordinator, you change the terminology, even if you do it subtly, and they didn't do it that dramatically here at Philadelphia. But if you change things around, it takes a little while for everybody to get comfortable with it. And I think the most uncomfortable was Randall Cunningham during the preseason, but now he is very comfortable with it.
Man next to Kotite, if he looks familiar, he should. Jim McMahon, who I guess he's going through a redshirt season, but he's getting paid.
Well, he pointed out to me last night, not as much as I would had if I were out there working.
No, but on a per pass attempt, it's about as good as it gets.
Yes, it is. He hasn't thrown a pass all season.
That's what I mean. About as good as it gets.
Their punter's thrown one.
Cunningham for Byers, and he can't hold on. Monty Coleman with the coverage, and that'll set up a 4th down.
Oh, that was laid in there perfectly. Good coverage by Bowles. He was both pressuring in there on the blitz. But let's take a look again. In the slot, Byers, the sure-handed one, the leading receiver on this Eagles ball club, gives a little move to the inside. Coleman all the way back there trying to handle the coverage in right off the fingertips.
Beagles of the Eagles. They kick it away. Howard moves over, makes the catch at the 8, and gets wrestled out of bounds by William Frizzell at the 11-yard line. So the defensive struggle continues. There's Frizzell, who has scored the only Eagle touchdown tonight on an interception return. 9:22 remaining in the 3rd. We're still tied. Well, if you're wondering why Dan will be sleeping on the mattress only at the hotel tonight.
That is the only complimentary banner in this entire stadium tonight. I'm surprised that one hasn't been ripped down yet.
On 1st down, it's a tip pass.
Oh, Clyde Simmons again, I think.
Yep.
Oh, he's playing a banner game. Clyde Simmons, 15.5 sacks a year ago. times his jump, as we saw Golick do it earlier in the game. Look how far away he is from Rutledge.
He's
Oh, that's
6'6"
nice.
when he has a great vertical leap, and apparently that Achilles tendon that had troubled him early in the year is completely well now, because he's played great in the past couple of weeks.
The Eagles sending people everywhere.
2nd and 10 Redskins. Sanders in motion from the 10. Look out. Sack at the 3. Reggie White.
Big Joe Jacoby is in there at right tackle, and Joe is dropping back like he's expecting it to be a drop back pass, and yet Rutledge is actually rolling that way. I mean, a confusion there between the quarterback and the right tackle. 9th sack this season, and as we said earlier in our telecast, he had gone 6 games without a sack against the Skins. Now he has one.
He'll never have an easier one than that. Confusion on the part of the Redskins offense.
3rd and 17, and Biner is stopped back at the 2. The Redskins tonight have not converted a 3rd down. They are 0 for 9, and now the injured Moshenko is going to have to kick from the back of his end zone. We also have Jerry Markbright indicating a penalty against Washington that was declined. It's 3rd down. What Markbright was saying negates the play. There was a delay penalty. So it's 3rd down and 18 from the 2. Biner, and he does give Moshenko a little more room than he would have had without the penalty. Takes it to the 7.
Well, those are a very important 3 or 4 yards that the Redskins picked up. They would have had to punt from a very tight formation. They may have to do it anyway.
And the Eagle defense has just continued to play good football.
Yep.
They have been all over Washington tonight from the get-go. They're playing great football.
And they're kicking from that tight formation. They won't get good coverage on it.
Moshenko's kick is a low liner fielded at the 45 by Edwards. And Edwards takes it back to the 33-yard line. So the Eagles in pretty good shape here with 7:36 to play in the 3rd, beginning this drive in Washington territory. Edwards taking over. Marvin Hargrove had been running back kicks for the Eagles, but he had problems last week. Buddy Ryan waived him. Edwards takes over, and the Eagles will take over when we come back at the 33. First down, Eagles from the 33-yard line, and they begin with Heath Sherman picking up about 6, taking it to the 27-yard line with 7.5 to go in the 3rd.
And Buddy Ryan stays on the ground. He told us we've got to run the football against Washington. He's going to have a low-scoring game no matter how it goes. He didn't like what they did 4 weeks ago, and he has come out running and stayed with it.
And I think you better get used to hearing the name Heath Sherman.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this kid here is one tough runner. I like his style. Over 100 yards last week, and he's dominating this game on the ground for Philadelphia so far.
Here he is again, bouncing off a tackle, but then he is wrapped up. Wilbur Marshall coming in with some help from Alvin Walton to corral him.
Oh, and we've got, is that Minuski still down on the field? Greg Minuski, the middle linebacker, who's played an awful good game to this point. Oh, and he's clutching at a leg.
So a timeout on the field. 6:51 remain. Jack Buck on the right calling the game on radio. 2 guys with very deep pockets.
And they just took a look at themselves on the monitor. Hammer and Hank.
Jack Buck, my mentor back in St. Louis, and the guy who got me started in this business. So now a lot of you can dislike Jack. Did a great job doing baseball this year for CBS. Did the World Series and the playoffs, and in the broadcasters wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. JB.
That's Greg Minuski, the middle linebacker. They continue to look at the left knee of Minuski. Was unprotected this year by the Redskins. I don't think they were too concerned that he would be leaving the Washington area. And he did have a couple of offers, but he stuck around and has been a major part of their defense, now being assisted off the field.
And you can see that they have splinted that leg, and he's not putting any weight on that at all. This is certainly a damaging blow to the Redskins in their run defense.
Well, they lose him. Gerald Riggs is done for the night. He's been taken back to the locker room with a sprained foot, so we'll see Biner for the balance of the game. Meanwhile, it's 3rd and 5. Key play here for the Eagles. 6:38 to go in the third, and the game is tied. And it's an inside handoff to Heath Sherman, who goes next to nowhere. He stopped at the 27-yard line. So it's 4th down, and the Eagles right now, if they opt to go for the field goal, are looking at about a 45-yard attempt into a swirling wind, and we do not see Roger Ruzek. They at least will line up as if they're going to go for it.
The last time the Eagles were in this situation, Randall Cunningham ended up getting sacked, and they lost even more yardage.
4th and 4 at the 27-yard line.
Good place to run a real hard count. Try to draw Washington off.
The pass, it's Sherman, and he has the first down. Picks up the first down as he goes out of bounds at the 22-yard line.
We talked about his running there. Obviously not afraid to throw the ball to Heath Sherman. He had 13 receptions coming into tonight. We saw him make a great grab of the screen earlier in the game, and now he comes up with a big first down reception.
Boy, you have got to like this kid. Only in his 2nd year. I mean, look what this guy's doing tonight. Handling the ball 26 times, over 100 yards total offense, and a lot of them very clutch.
First down to the 21. Sherman again to the 20-yard line. Heller and Andre Collins mixing. Collins, the rookie linebacker out of Penn State. And there goes Minuski. Kurt Govea takes his place. Second and 10. Fake to Sherman, and look out. Cunningham escapes the sack and gets to the 9 and a first down.
Raven Caldwell had Randall Cunningham for about a 10-yard loss. I mean, we're talking about knocking Randall Cunningham, putting his lights out, unblocked, and Raven Caldwell comes away with nothing.
And look what he does at the other end of this. Most quarterbacks will be spinning to the sidelines. He gave a move to the sideline, broke it back inside, and gets in inside the 10.
First and goal for the Eagles. 4 minutes to play, third quarter. 7-7 is the score.
We ought to give Raven Caldwell Carl Banks' phone number.
Here's Byers, and Byers is going to throw for a touchdown, but a flag is down. Heath Sherman makes the catch.
That's his second touchdown pass if it stands.
He threw one earlier this year, an 18-yarder. See about the call.
Watch out for the tight end, Keith Jackson. He may have made a block downfield while the pass was in the air.
Well, A mark right after checking with a back judge and now going to the head linesman. The side judge is also involved, the line judge.
I'm sure they're discussing whether Jackson's block came before the ball was thrown or while it was in the air. You can't block someone downfield. You can't knock them down while the ball is in the air. That's offensive interference.
Well, he's consulted with just about every other official on the field to see who had the best view. Here's the call.
There's no foul. Touchdown.
And they rule that Jackson's block was legal. Let's take a look at this. Here is Keith Jackson right here. Now you watch how he moves downfield, and there's his block, and they ruled that the block came before the ball was thrown, and thus the touchdown.
And it did appear that it did.
Yeah.
You could see the ball released by Cunningham. That's a good call.
Bruzek to make it 14-7, and Byers for the season is 2 for 2. He threw an 18-yard option pass to Anthony Toney on opening night against the New York Giants and connects here. And the Eagles kept that drive going on that 4th down play, that pass to Heath Sherman, and cash in to take the lead. 3:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Rapidly becoming the Heath Sherman show here tonight. Youngster out of Texas A&I. He's carried the front of the offense on the ground. He's been an excellent receiver, handled some good blocking.
You know, guys, another thing to think about with Keith Jackson's block there, and here he is right here, but keep in mind the line of scrimmage is the 10-yard line, and watch where his block takes place. This is another thing I think the officials were talking about, because this block really doesn't end up being downfield. He makes that block right on the line of scrimmage, which makes it legal regardless of when the ball was thrown.
And with the Randall Cunningham, Jackson is always prepared to make that block because he spins out of that backfield so often on the run.
You saw the flag thrown, but then they picked it up, determining that his block was legal.
Bruzek, a floating kick into the swirling wind, and backing up and fielding it at the 17-yard line is Howard. And Joe Howard takes it to the 24. It's down. Down to the 24, no fumble. Byers threw a touchdown pass in 1986, and the 2 this season. 1 to Toney and 1 to Sherman.
We ought to get him together with Butch Roll of Buffalo. Did he catch another one yesterday? I think he did. I think he's 8 for 8. All 8 of his receptions were for touchdown. What a lethal combination that would be. Byers to Roll.
We talked about Byers earlier being the good blocker, running back, receiver. We left out passer.
Bunk in motion.
Right. You're right, we did.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. And the pass, nobody is there. 88 isn't even in the game. That's Jimmy Johnson.
But he was sure open, though.
Going down the sideline.
I really think that maybe Rutledge saw 88. I can't believe that.
I think it's time for Stan Humphries to start limbering up.
Eagles, meanwhile, with a 33-yard drive, and again, that 4th down play kept it going. There is Stan Humphries, who was the starter until Rutledge came through with his miracle finish last week. 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. The pass, and that is caught by Art Monk, and that's his first catch of the night. It comes near the end of the 3rd quarter, and he has now caught a pass in 109 consecutive games. Jesse Small in Rutledge's face on that one.
Good read on the part of Rutledge, though. He picked up the blitz, got the ball out into the flat. Let's take a look. Bottom of your screen, number 52. And again, not enough Redskins to pick him up, but Rutledge was able to read it, get the ball to the receiver, but he paid a price.
1st and 10 at the 31. They've got Kelvin Bryant in the game. Again, Riggs is done for the night. Sanders in motion. Bryant and everybody else goes into the pattern. Wes Hopkins with a sack. It's picked up by Clyde Simmons, and it's a touchdown.
Safety blitz, and nobody touched him.
Well, there was nobody to touch him. The Redskins, with only one back in, had him on the other side of the formation. Hopkins blitzes to the other side, and there's no one there. I can only assume that Jeff Rutledge has to read that on his own and get rid of the football.
Ruzek to kick, Fiegels to hold. Two touchdowns for the Eagle defense tonight, and they lead 21-7.
I think we understand now why Buddy wanted to kick off here in the second half. His defense is his offense. Hopkins, again, nobody there to pick him up. They were all in the pattern. The Eagles reading the offensive set, bringing Hopkins, drilling Rutledge, and Simmons, who is playing a whale of a game for these Eagles, takes it in for the touchdown.
I mean, take a look at this. Here's the lone back that can stay in to block. Here's Hopkins, but look how everyone's occupied on this side. He's got that natural seam right in there. A well-conceived blitz right in the back. Wes Hopkins, and it's only fitting that Clyde Simmons be the guy that picks this up and runs it in. He has had a superlative game here tonight. The Redskins all week have known that Buddy Ryan was going to blitz, that he was going to come after them, and the blitz has wounded the Redskins here more than once tonight. And there's Stan Humphries with his jacket off and warming up.
And in the fourth quarter, even though it's a swirling wind, if it prevails at all, the Redskins will go into it in the fourth period. Ricky Sanders fields the kick and brings it back out to the 35-yard line. Redskins will begin their next drive from that spot, and they will do it with a new quarterback.
He did not have a whole lot of time to warm up, and it is chilly here in Philadelphia tonight, and the temperature is continuing to drop, and I don't think they have a choice. I think Rutledge maybe had to come out of this game.
Well, that's his right hand, and he's a right-handed quarterback. When you see him taping the hand and taping the thumb, that's going to make it more difficult than it would ordinarily be to throw the ball.
First down from the 35-yard line. Humphries with a deep drop under pressure, gets it away to Clark. He takes it to the 50. The tackle is made there by Ben Smith, and it's a first down.
And there is no way to gauge the importance of that play. One of the Eagles still back downfield, back at the 25-yard line.
Simmons, that's Clyde Simmons.
Well, you're so right about that play, Dan. You bring a quarterback off the bench, he's cold, you've taken him out of a game the week before after throwing 3 interceptions. Your offense stumbling around out here at the moment all night long, and your quarterback comes off the bench and gets a big completion to midfield. It has to mean a lot to the Redskins.
Here is the blitz again. We'll look at it from the other side of the field on our reverse angle, and let's see if we can see if he has to throw that right hand out to catch himself when he goes down. Yeah, he lands right on it. Wes Hopkins hitting him in the back, and there's Clyde Simmons. And Simmons looked to me when he went into the end zone right here. Right there, there was almost a hitch in his step right about the 3 or 4 yard line. And I wonder if maybe that Achilles problem that's been haunting him all year hasn't resurfaced.
Could be that, or the fact that he probably has not been able to work out as much as he'd like to over from the very beginning of the year with that Achilles problem. That time he was sprinting into the end zone, so we'll be checking at the sidelines on Simmons.
David Bailey comes in to spell him along the defensive front. Humphries buys time with the play fake, and on first down from the 50 goes for Gary Clark, and Clark goes down, but there is no flag. Clark reaching out. Eric Allen was there, but no interference, and it's simply 2nd down and 10.
You know, Al, you mentioned Eric Allen's name. I mean, stop and think about it. That might be the first time all night we've even mentioned his name, and that's how good Eric Allen is. I mean, this guy is a Pro Bowl cornerback, and you'll go an entire game and not even mention his name because nobody goes at this guy. You talk about the loneliest man on the field. He might be the most bored man on the field.
Sign of respect.
13 interceptions the first couple of years. You want to stay away from something like that.
Replay proved he wasn't even as close as we had initially thought on that, as Clark reached out for it, couldn't get it. 2nd down and 10, and that pass is incomplete. The closest Redskin receiver was Art Monk, and it will be 3rd down and 10.
Humphries, I think, just threw that one away. Things were starting to rapidly fall down all around him.
Well,
in this pressure tonight.
In this kind of wind, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Redskins haven't run the ball yet, have they, since Humphries came in the game?
Nope.
I think he's thrown the ball every try, and in this wind and under these conditions, the Redskins are going to have to try to run the football. I mean, you can't ask Stan Humphries to throw it every time.
3rd and 10. They are 0 for 10 in converting on 3rd down tonight. And they'll keep that imperfect record intact as Reggie White comes up with the loose ball. And White takes it all the way down to the 9-yard line.
And Raleigh McKenzie saved the touchdown because Reggie White would have scored.
Off an assist from Byron Evans, who batted it.
The Eagles come with the safety blitz. They brought everybody. Single coverage downfield, but Humphries just didn't have time to get rid of it.
And that was really a delayed read by Evans. He hovered around the line of scrimmage, floated there, and then came in late. And as we've seen repeatedly tonight, the Eagles are getting off the ground, getting their hands in the air, and batting away balls.
1st and goal, 1.5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Sherman again takes it to the 5-yard line. It will be 2nd and goal.
Well, the Redskins last week trailed the Lions by 21 points in the 2nd half. They're on the verge of trailing the Eagles by 21 points in the 2nd half, and I think they're tempting the fates.
There is Evans going high in the air, and there is big Reggie White.
Raleigh McKenzie showing some speed here because Reggie can really go.
2nd and goal, Eagles from the 5. They lead by 14. Sherman again gets to the 1, scrolls to the 1.
I like this guy a lot.
He's coming close to establishing a new Philadelphia record for carries in a game, held by an immortal. Steve Van Buren carried 35 times in the game years and years ago.
He's establishing a Buddy Ryan record for running back. I can tell you that for sure. Buddy doesn't really like. You could have. Was he touched? We could have taken that back.
This guy's running on his right foot and his left knee. An unusual combination.
That's his 27th carry, and he's up and over 100 yards for the 2nd week in a row. Van Buren did it, those 35 carries, back in 1949.
If you're wondering why he wasn't called down when the knee touched there, he wasn't hit by a Redskin. That's why it's.
Meanwhile, the Eagles call a timeout, did they? With 2 seconds to play in the quarter. And 3rd and goal upcoming.
How many times has Buddy Ryan told, well, everyone, us included, my running backs only carry it 9 or 10 times a game. We've seen things change dramatically here tonight.
Well, first of all, his running backs have not had the skill of a Heath Sherman. I mean, Keith Byers really is more skilled as a receiver than he is as a guy who can pound away in there, even though Byers is a big man at 240 pounds. But they haven't had an exciting runner like Sherman.
Up until now, it's been that man just stepping into the huddle, number 12, Randall Cunningham.
Final play of the period coming up. 3rd and goal, Eagles from the 3. Byers in motion. Fake to Tony. Flip to Sherman. Who else?
This is an old-fashioned whooping here.
Oh, what a difference it makes when you can run the football, however. Little play action fake by Cunningham. Good play action fake. He put it right into Tony's stomach. They've been running the ball all night against the Redskins. They bought it all the way, and Sherman wide open, standing all alone at the goal line.
The Eagles are going for the record. If you think Sherman was wide open, Keith Jackson was right there with him. I mean, a double blown coverage by the Redskins, and I'm sure that man, Richie Pettibone, is not happy. I mean, you talk about disgusted.
You saw Darrell Grant walking off, talking to himself. Redskins have come apart and crumbled in the third quarter. The Eagles score 3 touchdowns in period 3 and lead by 21. And we return after this word from our ABC station.
2 guys wide open. Bad.
A total of 26 points in the third quarter. Tonight they score 21 in the third and lead 28-7 as we start the fourth. On a windy night, ball being blown off the tee, Ruzek to kick off, and Washington down by 3 touchdowns and basically going into the wind, which again has blown the ball off the tee.
Now we'll see an Eagle, I'm sure, step in and hold the ball.
Looks like William Frizzell is coming over.
Booms it down to the goal line. Joe Howard up past the 20. Tackled at the 32-yard line. Roger Vick, the ex-Jet. And again on the tackle for the special teams, and Washington takes over at the 32. And look at that total yardage total for the Redskins.
Talk about a reversal of fortunes. 89 total yards. Keep in mind they had 78 at halftime. An 11-yard third quarter, 10 yards rushing, 1 yard passing. This is the same offensive team that had over 600 yards last week and 110 offensive plays. What a reversal of fortune.
Humphreys on first down from the 33 throws, and that's incomplete. Intended for Sanders. He's covered by Smith. Last week, in fact, Dan, they had 676 yards, did the Redskins, which was the most for any team in 32 years.
No, they were, of course, playing against a team that was ranked a week ago, Detroit, 26th in the league defensively.
Well, and we are seeing, you're right, Frank, we're seeing a vastly different defensive team opposing the Redskins here tonight. This has been a marvelous game plan and nicely executed by the Eagle players tonight.
2nd and 10 from the 33.
Here comes Reggie.
Biner out past the 45 and all the way to the 50-yard line goes Ernest Biner for a skin first down. Evans and Smith make the tackle. 17-yard gain.
Good discipline on that screen on the part of Russ Grimm with his quarterback in trouble. He held up going downfield. Could have been flagged very easily. Humphreys had to scramble around there and couldn't get rid of the ball as quickly as he wanted to.
First and 10 at the 50. Clark. Short gain. Let's talk about Dexter Manley here for a second. We mentioned him earlier. Manley given a lifetime suspension for a violation of the league substance abuse policy last year, but eligible to be reinstated. Our understanding is he and his agent Bob Wolf will meet with Paul Tagliabue, the commissioner, on Friday. He'll then render a decision. The question is, does Washington want him? That's the key.
Joe Gibbs is making no comment. He feels it totally inappropriate to say anything until the commissioner, if and when he does, reinstates Manley, and that's an if and when.
That's a first down. Clark makes the catch. Well, among other things, they still have his rights. They could waive him or release him. You can't trade him. They're past the trading deadline. They, I suppose, could petition for a roster exemption for a couple of weeks, but they're staying mum about it.
Tough decision because Joe Gibbs is very pleased with Eric Williams, who he picked up from Detroit. Tim Johnson he got from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he talks very glowingly about his defensive line.
First and 10 to Washington at the 39-yard line. Biner cuts it back. Works his way to the 33. Seth Joyner makes the tackle.
You know, another thing to keep in mind is, you know, the Manley suspension is a lifetime suspension, and it's subject to review after 1 year. And you know, we have a new man sitting in the corner office. Paul Tagliabue is the new commissioner, and I think a lot of people assume that it's a given that Dexter Manley will be reinstated. And I'm not so sure that it's all that simple.
Funny, the man who stepped right up to the situation that developed election day out in Phoenix.
Second down and 3. Catch is made by Sanders, and he takes it down to the 18-yard line as Eric Allen makes the tackle.
Well, we're getting a good look at the old bull and the middle-aged bull going at it right now. Joe Jacoby has replaced Ed Simmons at right tackle, and he's having to lock up with Reggie White. Now there's steel on steel. Big Joe Jacoby, who suffered a disastrous knee injury, has come back from it, and mostly a backup here for the Redskins, but boy, what a great player he was.
First and 10 at the 18-yard line. Monk in motion. Humphreys protected well. Humphreys has it batted down, intended for Monk, and there's their #1 pick, Ben Smith, the rookie from Georgia, who will eventually go back to play free safety, right now a cornerback.
He's not one of those guys that you have to wonder whether or not it was a wise first draft choice. Buddy Ryan got everything he expected from Ben Smith.
The posse last week, 32 catches, an incredible number. 13 by Monk, time the team mark. Tonight, a total of 9 catches. Second and 10 at the 18. Big rush, under pressure, gets it away to Sanders, and he's dragged down by Allen at the 9-yard line, but Humphreys was able to hang in there and get it away despite heavy pressure.
The Giants a couple of weeks ago, they took the posse out of the game, and they were able to beat the Redskins, and the Eagles have pretty much done that this evening. And when they've been able to make the reception, they've been held to little or no yardage at the end of the reception. They are good runners, this group. Clark, Monk, Sanders.
On 3rd and 1, it is Ernest Biner, very close. Mike Golick makes the tackle, and he does not appear to have made it. And again, you know, you can overstate the significance and meaning of some statistics, but it is pretty revealing when you are 0 for 12 on 3rd down conversions.
Well, maybe they'll have better luck on 4th down.
Yeah. And they're 0 for 1 on their 1 4th down attempt tonight.
Tough to win with those numbers.
Play clock is down to 5 as Sanders goes in motion. The clock is down to 3. And it is Humphreys fighting his way in an attempt to get the first down, and I don't think he's got it. Reggie White is there to stop him. The Eagles are convinced it's their football.
And I think Humphreys is hurt. Did you see his leg get twisted when he went down? I think Stan Humphreys has really hurt.
He's grabbing his right knee.
Oh.
Well, you saw Rutledge with his thumb tape. Gary Hogeboom is their other quarterback, but he is inactive tonight. Not even eligible. And there is Rutledge as Gibbs goes over to check and see whether he can unwrap it and get back in.
Watch Reggie White twisting back to the inside, and there it is. Look at the right knee pinned underneath. And you can see Stan Humphreys screaming right there. Oh, that is not a pretty sight.
An insult to injury. He didn't make the first down, and the Eagles have the ball at the 9-yard line.
And you could see Reggie White immediately start calling for help. Reggie came right up and started signaling to the sideline, get some help in here. Also, the ankle bent in there as well.
Hogevold, who's inactive on the right, if they have to go to somebody beside Rutledge. Number 30 is Brian Mitchell. He's a running back and a return specialist. He's a rookie, but he did play quarterback in college at Southwestern Louisiana, so he could be the man.
And meanwhile, it must be a fairly severe injury because they have brought out the cart to assist Humphreys off the field.
9:55 remaining in the fourth. First player in NCAA history with more than 5,000 yards throwing and 3,000 yards rushing. But as we say, not drafted as a quarterback. He's a running back and a return specialist for them. And we would see him if Rutledge can't make it.
As a senior, he had over 3,200 yards in total offense.
So the Redskins, who pinched themselves all week after that stunning victory last week and felt they'd put things back together, now find themselves in very dire straits, physically and emotionally and on the scoreboard as well, and are just 9:55 away from seeing their record become the same as the Eagles, 5-4. Heath Sherman with another carry for a minimal gain.
And the rest of the National Football League is going to have to deal with an Eagle team that, after a dismal start, is gaining momentum with every week. And boy, what a big win this one here is tonight. With 9.5 minutes left, a comeback by the Redskins now with their quarterback problems would be, I don't know that the word exists to describe that comeback. And the Eagles right now playing as good as football as anyone in the NFL.
Sherman on second down goes nowhere. It'll be 3rd and 11. Marcus Cook makes the tackle.
One team that'll be looking tonight's game will be, of course, Don Shula. The Miami Dolphins played these Eagles December the 9th. The Giants, of course, with their unbeaten record, it could still be intact when they get here November the 25th.
Well, Wilbert Montgomery in 1981, 9 years ago, the last Eagle player to rush for 100 yards or more in consecutive games. Heath has done it tonight. It is 3rd down and 11. 8:35 remaining. Philadelphia leads by 21. Cunningham. Tries to vault his way for a first down, and let's see if he got it. Raven Caldwell was there playing the part of a hurdle.
I think he got it. And that's not an unusual move by Cunningham. He often will try to hurdle a tackler, and he gets the first down.
Boy, you'd expect that.
Whoa,
Randall goes
we
down.
got a problem with Cunningham.
Oh, and right now the collective heartbeat of Philadelphia is beating much more rapidly.
Well, he does that a lot, as you say, and he's always said one of the reasons he does it, strangely, is to protect his knees.
Watch him go up.
Boy, he took a shot right in the back when he was up in the air from Alvin Walton.
And Jim McMahon may see action here as Cunningham comes off. Come back in, but because they had to take that timeout on the field, Jim McMahon has to be in for at least one play. He has been with the Eagles since the start of the year. There is Cunningham. McMahon saw action last week against New England, but didn't throw a pass. First down from the 20-yard line. Behind the dark visor. Yep.
I think David Alexander had the ball slide on him. You know, a lot of times with artificial surfaces here, that the ball really could just move when you don't mean it to move.
And you know it's going to be a run, don't you, Dan? He's got his weight on that ball.
On number 72 offense.
Watch the football.
5 yards, first down.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm afraid. Sorry, David. An inadvertent move.
Yep.
He didn't forget the snap count. If he would have forgotten that. The ball would have come all the way up. That's just a little too much weight on the ball, and it moves.
First down from the 14-yard line. Here's Sherman out to the 19. Funny thing, we put that graphic up about Sherman going up and over 100 yards, and then he lost 3 yards. He was back down to 99. We had to put that up in erasable ink. But now he's back up and over 100 again, and here comes Cunningham.
Oh, and we've got another little scuffle over on the sideline. Calvin Williams.
Raven Caldwell in on it.
One of the talented rookie duo for the Eagles at wide receiver. Well, what do you think about the future of this Eagle team also when you consider how young they are? A very young football team. One of Buddy Ryan's strengths has to be his eye for talent.
They do not have a starter over 30 years old.
And that definitely puts them in the minority in the National Football League.
Well, it puts them in a class with only Dallas and Tampa Bay just having 3 players on the entire roster with 30 years old or younger.
Hey, they went outside for their draft this year to the wide receivers. Mike Quick was a question mark, coming off double knee surgery, and he is back on the IR, and they have the 3 wide receivers that they are very happy with in Barnett. We talked about Calvin Williams a moment ago, and Mike Bellamy, rookie out of Illinois.
Mentioned Dallas and Tampa Bay, 3 on the roster, 30 and over, as is the case with Philadelphia, but the Eagles all alone and having no starters. On the delay, Heath Sherman picks up the first down out to the 35-yard line. Todd Bowles makes the tackle.
That's a draw play with a little wrinkle. Cunningham pulling back, faking the pass, and then moving by Sherman, and then putting it in. Now this takes a little bit of work, a little practice. There's the fake. You move by him, slipping the draw, and he runs slow. A lot of the Redskins didn't even see him come out of there.
Well, you know, he's going to, the way it looks right now, he's going to break that Van Buren record of all things, a record that has stood since 1949. He's already carried 32 times tonight, has Heath Sherman. First and 10 from the 35-yard line. 5:22 to go. Carry number 33 nets nothing. Second and 10. And in the history of this franchise, only Van Buren with 35 carries and Ernest Jackson with 34 in 1985 have carried more in one game.
A guy that when he was drafted in New York, when they announced his selection in the 6th round by the Eagles, he was called Sherman Heath. An inauspicious debut. There on the right, seated, is Norman Brayman, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles and one of the National Football League's more influential owners.
Second and 10 from the 35.
Now there's
movement. That won't count. That will not be carry number 34 for Sherman. I believe that play was whistled dead before it began.
Looks like Ron Heller on the left side. Number 73, the left tackle, was.
Fourth start, number 73, offense, 5 yards, second down.
Well, next Monday we will move south, and it will be about 45 degrees warmer. The Raiders head to Joe Robbie Stadium with Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen and Jay Schrader against the Miami Dolphins, who have not allowed a touchdown. Their defense in 4 games has not given up a touchdown, and they're ranked number 1 in the league, 9 Eastern time.
We could pull those 2 pictures out of there and insert Jeff Cross and Howie Long.
Yep.
Defense a big part of both of those folks.
Second and 15. Clock went down to 0.
Yeah, the flag's on the field for delay.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards.
Well, both the Redskins and the Eagles will end up with identical records after this game tonight. Both of them will be at 5-4. They will have split their 2 games, but the Redskins will still hold the advantage because their division record will be 4-3, while the Eagles' division record will be 2-3.
2nd and 20 from the 25. Sherman tripped up at the 22-yard line. Martin Mayhew comes in there.
What's that, 34 carries?
34, yep, one more ties Van Buren's record. Heath Sherman from Texas A&I.
Think in the 6th round. Probably because he is only 6 feet tall, 190-pounder. He gained over 5,000 yards at Texas A&I.
Stop and think about that for a minute. That's a lot of yards.
5,280 to get you some mileage out of that one.
3rd and 23, and he puts his name alongside Van Buren's as he takes it out to the 30. The day that Van Buren carried 35 times, he did it against the New York Bulldogs and gained 174 yards.
Well, draw this man a hot bath. He deserves it. Heath Sherman getting his chance to show the country that he has arrived. Back-to-back 100-yard efforts, and folks get used to that name. I think the Eagles like to see a few more games like tonight out of that kid.
Well, the Eagles next Sunday go to Atlanta, so Heath will try to burn down Atlanta, I suppose, huh?
I got it.
Yuck, yuck,
I got
yuck,
it.
yuck,
I got
yuck.
it.
Come on, guys, it's getting late. Kicked by Fiegels, taken by Howard at the 31. Brings it back to the 44-yard line with 2:51 to play. 2:51 left in the 4th. Eagles on their way to a 3rd consecutive. Britt Hager laid a major pop on Joe Howard on that run back, and Howard is still sprawled out.
Well, a helmet-to-helmet hit. Joe Howard takes it right in the ear hole. Watch number 80. Here comes Hager from the right there. The top of his helmet right on the side of Joe Howard's helmet. And he is still down on the field.
Well, Mitchell's going to come into quarterback here, but this game is over as far as the Redskins are concerned.
And this is serious now. This a shot like that right in the ear hole. That's great news to see Joe Howard at least moving his legs.
And a real very difficult night for the Redskins in every way. Remember, Stanley got hurt, the punt returner, early on. Then Riggs went out with a sprained foot. Minuski went out. Humphreys is gone. And now Howard.
Mojienko turned an ankle on a punt, and you wonder if that didn't play into the Redskins going for it on 4th down one time. Rutledge with his thumb. I mean, this has been just a disaster for the Redskins. And on top of all those things, they got outplayed by the Eagles.
Yep.
I mean, we can't take those injuries as a crutch, so to speak, for the Redskins. Nope. They got outplayed by the Eagles here tonight, clearly.
And obviously a major concern now over Joe Howard. They have called for the cart to assist him off the field.
Well, next week we, as we have told you, travel down to Miami. We'll take a look at that sensational defense under Tom Olivedati, an example of what they were able to do. Seen once before tonight. As another Redskin gets wheeled off the AstroTurf at Veterans Stadium. And the concerned Britt Hager is out there to check it out himself.
And a class move by Hager out there checking up on what's going on. I mean, it was a great hit, a fine hit, a perfectly legal shot. That's unfortunate. And well, we hope that Joe Howard is going to be okay. This is a scary moment.
See if we can get a report before we go off the air on Howard. Redskins go home tonight, and it's going to be a real short week. They face New Orleans on Sunday. Then they go to Dallas a week from Thursday. Their record will be 5-4. They will be tied with the Eagles, and it's funny the way things can turn around so rapidly. Last time we were in here, Eagles needed a miracle finish and a lot of breaks to beat Minnesota when it seemed like everything was going downhill, and now Philadelphia feels they have everything together. And there's the man who made you, Dan.
Jim Hannafin, the offensive line coach of the Washington Redskins, and coached in San Diego and Atlanta. Was the interim head coach of the Atlanta Falcons after Marion Campbell.
On that fake punt before, so he's 0 for 1 tonight.
First start, number 63, offense, 5 yards, first down.
Raleigh McKenzie. .249 remaining. Eagles with a 21-point outburst in the third quarter. On top 28-7. Mitchell, it's a great college play. And the tackle is made at the 48-yard line by Ben Smith.
Hey, he rushed for 1,300 yards plus as a senior.
Guys, you remember when we talked to Joe Gibbs yesterday, he was talking, about the 3 games in 11 days, and his biggest concern was, what if I get a guy hurt? Normally an 11-day injury would be he's going to miss 1 game. I've got to worry about guys getting hurt and missing all 3 games, and look what happened tonight. I mean, the field just strewn with Redskin injured here this evening, and I don't know how it could go much worse for Washington with what they're facing in the next 10 days.
Well, clearly what they do is that you think about bringing Rippon back. You have to activate Hogeboom next week. Meanwhile, we can tell you there is a Hogeboom on the right along with Rippon. As if on cue, the two of them get together. We can get them in one shot. Bruins Trojans, SC-UCLA, the annual battle. Most of you will see that game. Others will see Purdue against Iowa. College football this Saturday. Mitchell to throw, and that's incomplete. And a flag goes down as Monk is wrapped up by Eric Allen. Literally.
I think that's Eric Allen just wanting to call a little attention to himself.
Pass interference, number 21, defense, automatic first down.
One of the great corners in the game is Eric Allen. Of course, working against one of the fine receivers in the game, Arthur Monk. And yeah, that's riding him in there pretty good.
1st and 10. Washington at the Philadelphia 38-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Mitchell throws, incomplete, intended for Art Monk, and the 2-minute warning comes with 1:58.
Celebrating out there.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Al.
Well, thank you, guys. When do I get to open these gifts?
Well, we were going to sing, and there it is.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you. How old are you?
In the words of my friend Alan Malamud, I am now closer to 60 than 30, so you can figure it out.
You're 46.
5.
You better tell NBC.
Now, how old are you?
What'd they say?
Now, how old are you?
Now, wait
46.
a second.
No, wait, how old are you?
Is that what they said?
How old are you?
45.
Are you 45?
Yeah. 45 plus 45 is 1990, right?
Well, I started.
That's funny.
I started going the other way in the mid-40s too, Al.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to. Come on.
Well, I just want you to know, as we watch this pass from Brian Mitchell downfield to Jimmy Johnson.
Yep.
As I do a little play-by-play, I just want you to know, Al, that statistics are very important to us here on Monday Night Football. And
yes.
It's very strange because I had a conversation this afternoon with your brother, David Michaels, who's a producer over at NBC, and David tells me that you're 46.
David's lost it.
And I said, David, come on now. I mean, Al's telling all of us he's 45. He said, I ought to know when my brother's birthday is. He's 46.
The man is the man. That's it. He is out of the will.
I mean, Al, we're getting some varying reports on your age.
Now, don't believe everything you hear.
No,
there is misinformation strewn all over.
I just thought
the
in
Northern Hemisphere.
In the interest of good journalism that we should bring that to light.
Right, yeah, that is our #1 priority, right?
That's why I read in the paper.
Well, thank you.
I understand it's in the driveway.
Yeah, right. In Dan's driveway. On 2nd down, Mitchell throws. The catch is made. No. He didn't get in, but he did make the catch. Ricky Sanders is there, and he is just short of the goal line. And of all things, Mitchell's liable to lead them to a touchdown at the end of the game here.
That's a pretty doggone good throw. Yeah. Look at the tight spiral. I mean, that is right there.
And Smith up there to make sure it wasn't for 6.
And they're going to review it. Oh, this is just what we need at this point, right?
Sure doesn't look from that angle like Ricky was across the goal line.
Mitchell has now hit his last 3 passes, 3 of 6. Buddy Ryan.
You think he liked the way this game was played tonight?
The ever-candid one. You can always count on Buddy for a few quotes. He'll be chirping tonight.
Well, even when they got off to the bad start, he said, we'll be there in the end. We'll be in the playoffs. Don't worry about us.
Mitchell. Well, why not? He deserves it. He's in there for the touchdown.
He was buffing it around when he went in.
One of the Skins looking to call a timeout. You don't have to do that with the touchdown having been signaled. And with 44 seconds remaining, Mitchell guides them down the field.
Well, as Brian Mitchell pulled on his socks getting ready for this game, I'm sure like all rookies in this league, they dream of scoring a touchdown. I'm not sure that he imagined it, though, coming by taking a snap from center and taking it on a quarterback sneak at the goal line.
Chip Lohmiller for the point after. By the way, a streak is going to end here tonight. Lohmiller had kicked a field goal in 28 consecutive games. That's 3 short of the National Football League record held by Fred Cox, and that streak will come to an end.
There's a dramatic return to reality for the Redskins.
I think that's you.
Wait a second.
Kenny Wolf and Craig Janoff down in the truck playing games with us up here.
this is like interactive video now, right?
Oh, I think
the onside kick is attempted, but it's recovered by Byers and the Eagles. 42 seconds remaining in the game. 28-14 is the score. And we can tell you that Jeffrey Mason is our executive producer. The Wolfman at the helm tonight, Kenny Wolf. Our director, Craig Janoff. The great Joey Chavo is our technical director. Traveling Ben Harvey, our AD. Rick Abbott, Kurt Pfluger, our assistants to the producer. Ed McKenna, Tony Versley, Lee Kolinsky. Our tech managers, Bruce Clark and the gang. Steve Hurd, our director of information. George Hill handling the stats, and the ever-successful incumbent mayor of Malibu, Kelly J. Hayes, handling the spotting board.
better thank Ronit, too. Couldn't have brought enough hot coffee tonight. Right. Man, am I cold.
One more for the road.
Chilly. I am chilled. Not as chilled as the Skins, though.
Nope.
They got it put to them by Buddy's boys. The Eagles are back.
Well, Joe Gibbs, since he arrived in Washington, I don't think I have seen such a thorough and convincing defeat that he suffered here tonight.
Shirts beat the Skins 28-14. Heath Sherman, big night. Big night. So the Eagles win it by 2 touchdowns. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deardorff bidding you a pleasant good night from Philadelphia and reminding you to be with us from Joe Robbie Stadium in Miami a week from tonight, the Dolphins against the Raiders.